Hello and welcome to an important film review. Yes, I've decided to do one of these as well as part of the ANN5 series. However, while the rest of the series poke fun at the YouTube video formats they're based on, this one actually turned out serious. Not for lack of trying, though. Firstly, I must confess to falling in love with foreign cinema. From the greats like The Raid and The Man from Nowhere, right through to the absolutely insane Andaz Apna Apna and Sivaji the Boss, which are both complete train wrecks of the most beautiful and hilarious kind. Now, I genuinely thought that I was in for another train wreck with this movie. The synopsis says, and I quote, Eega, literally The Fly, is an Indian fantasy action film where the film's protagonist, Nani, who is in love with his neighbour Bindu, is murdered by a wealthy businessman named Sudeep, who is attracted to Bindu and considers Nani a rival. Seems simple enough. Nani is then reincarnated as a housefly to avenge his death. You can see why I thought this was going to be brilliantly terrible. And yet, it turned out to be brilliant. And even more brilliant when you realise that this movie had a budget of 260 to 400 million rupees when it was released in 2012. That's between $4 and $6 million, or about £3 to £5 million. Not a lot of money. For comparison, in the same year, The Avengers, Life of Pi, The Dark Knight Rises, Skyfall and 21 Jump Street were all released, with budgets of 220 million, 120 million, 250 million, 150 million, and $55 million respectively. Even Perks of Being a Wallflower, also the same year, had a budget of $13 million. Now, I understand that there is a lot of CGI in The Avengers, and it looks great, whereas the CGI here leaves quite a bit to be desired, but it's not terrible. I mean, it's not Justice League terrible. The reason this film is so brilliant to me is usually with movies, you can guess what's going to happen. You can tell that two characters are going to kiss, you know when a jump scare is coming, you know when they'll awkwardly work the movie title into the dialogue. But nothing, and I mean nothing, in this movie is predictable. I can't stress that enough. Let's begin. So we start off with a title sequence oddly reminiscent of Jimmy Neutron's Brain Blast in Reverse or Spider-Man. Then we have a bunch of titles over which plays the audio of a kid asking her father to tell her a story she hasn't heard before. You got more than you bargained for here, didn't you? Our story starts by introducing Sudeep, this absolute unit, telling his right-hand man to cool it, perving on women, shooting things, and generally being a creep. And this woman is so aroused by his seeming disregard for his own mortality and ability to shoot things that she starts speaking English. Now that was just a joke. This movie, like lots of Indian flicks, has a bit of English interspersed throughout, so don't start thinking you've got a babblefish in your ear. After satisfyingly establishing Sudeep as the rich, womanizing Badaman, the movie switches to see Bindu, a micro-artist, dissatisfied with her latest jelly baby. Well, what? Looks like a jelly baby to me. The electricity goes out, and on a moonlit rooftop, we are introduced to our hero Nani, who we're supposed to side with because he's just so lovable and incompetent, and lovely music starts playing every time he shows up. Also, he gives her a light from a street away, which is pretty cool, but honestly, she could have just gone and got a torch. He creeps on her from a rooftop for a song, and then helpful exposition roommate explains that Nani has been after this girl for 2 years, and makes the perfectly valid point that she's not showing any interest in him. But, as we will see, if a girl shuts her window on you, makes absolutely no attempt to talk to you when you visit her workplace, gives an offering to everyone else outside the temple except you, and doesn't turn around when you follow her through a marketplace, she's just playing hard to get. No, actually she is. What a bitch. Actually, all jokes aside here, the actors do a pretty good job of conveying the relationship they have with really minimal dialogue. She doesn't say shit. In the meantime, Sudeep has forged a business relationship with Bindu by pretending to be a nice person who wants to donate to charity. He becomes instantly besotted with her, aware of Nani, and pretty pissed that Bindu is not giving Nani attention, because he wants her to not give him attention instead. And actually, incredibly, again, the actors pull this off. As Sudeep's infatuation with Bindu grows, Nani does a Westlife and a Boyzone and a Take That. And then Bindu coughs, so Nani breaks into a convenience store and buys her a beer, and if we could see the label on that beer, it would be the best advertising campaign in the world. These two have a romantic romp through the streets, a temple, and an MC Escher bridge, occasionally on a scooter, stealing other people's washings and falling into paddling pools to a pretty decent soundtrack. And Nani says his heart is residing happily in her heart, don't blame me, blame the translation. And she fucks off to finish her micro art, having been inspired by his stalkerishness. Bindu arrives back at home and immediately starts working on her new piece, a pencil pendant, which objectively is pretty cool, just in time to see her love vanish as he is bundled into the back of Sudeep's van. And Sudeep fucking kills him. With his bare feet. Yeah, that happens. And it's actually a really good, crazy scene. The actors were totally invested in this idea. I love it. Now that's about all the stuff you knew was going to happen. The synopsis said a guy kills another guy over a girl and the dead guy gets reincarnated as a housefly. But I'm making an appeal to you now to not watch the end of this review. I don't give two shits what the YouTube retention time statistics on this video are. Go and watch the movie. I'm going to put a link in the description below. Just support these geniuses. Go now. Okay, if you're still here, you either can't commit to watching 2 hours of magic right at this second, you've already seen the movie, or you're a bit OCD and you have to finish one video before you start the next one. I don't blame you, I would do exactly the same thing. So let's jump back in. Bindu calls Nani and says that she loves him, but he's too preoccupied to answer, what with being dead and all. So maybe because she said she loved him, or maybe because he died in such a fucking metal way, the leaves begin to swirl around him and he does a Master Oogway from Kung Fu Panda. Except instead of disappearing, he becomes fucking Tinkerbell for just a second before shooting into a maggot chrysalis. Bindu finds Nani's dead body and understandably is pretty upset, probably because she dicked him around for 2 fucking years, and if she'd not been such a bitch, he might still be alive. Also, this dude is just throwing water. Like it's his job. Now we cut to a cut-price Bug's Life, where Nani Fly hatches from the cocoon he shot into. There are a couple of nice sequences where he avoids getting sepped on, B-movies a tennis ball, and does a chase sequence with a bird through some ceiling fans. And finally, he meets Sudeep, his killer and nemesis, while being stirred in his drink. And the image here is quite effective. I mean, it's the rebirth of Nani and the beginning of the best part of the movie. Now, Nani tries to fuck him up by just hitting him in the face, but he's no match for Sudeep's human skin. Not about to let this stop him, however. He goes to see Bindu and hides on her necklace for a while until Sudeep arrives for a business meeting with her and tries to make her forget all about Nani by reeling off the story of how his late wife told him to move on. Sudeep touches Bindu's shoulder and "Whoa, that's it! That's the last straw!" So Nani dances in his ear for a while to piss him off and he goes a little bit mad and then leaves. Back at Sudeep's mansion, complete with gravestones, he gets into his Dalek sauna, which is a thing, I guess. Oh my god, it is. Oh my, I want one. And Nani fucks with him for a bit until the whole steam bath starts rolling towards some helpfully placed spiky-ass towel rails. After nearly being killed in a very creative way, Sudeep strips naked and tries to swat Nani, running onto an indoor balcony where he can be seen by a group of his own investors. After that brilliant scene, Sudeep gets Bindu to agree to go on a business trip with him. So that night, Nani keeps him awake by doing what flies do best, being irritating little fuckers. Because of this, Sudeep oversleeps and is running late for his business trip with Bindu. And in his most creative plot yet, and don't worry, they get better, Nani makes a traffic warden try to swat him, inadvertently signalling traffic from all directions to go ahead and resulting in satisfying chaos, and making Sudeep even later in the process. On learning that the flight is delayed though, he thinks he'll make it, to which Nani's response is to kick him in the eye and cause him to fly off the highway. Overreaction much? But then, he did kill him. Miraculously, Sudeep is not killed by this accident, but while stuck in a car on its side, Nani scribes a promise into the soot covering the windscreen, and shit gets real. So Sudeep, in a chair with a neck brace, is understandably a bit wary of flies. He conducts research on flies, he's told to see a psychiatrist when he explains that a single fly is ruining his life, and finally in a dark alley he is met by the hooded figure of a sorcerer with a flaming stick who tells him that they will meet again. Because this movie has everything. Meanwhile, Nani finds Bindu and manages to communicate that he is the reincarnated Nani by spelling it out for her. Literally. And then he tells her that Sudeep killed him by pointing to his picture in a magazine. So Team Artifly are united and they set out to fuck up Team Rich Pig. And we get a Rocky-style training montage of Nani getting micro-armor and going on the offensive. Because this movie has everything. First, Nani nearly has Sudeep throw himself off a building, then he sets fire to his bed sheets with a cigarette, then he has his barber cut him while he's getting a shave, then he puts fly poison, specifically set out to kill him, in Sudeep's beer, then he electrocutes him with frayed wiring, then he sets his face on fire with alcohol, and finally they come up with a plan to fire a bullet at him out of a model cannon ornament in his office. At a business meeting at Sudeep's mansion, Nani messes with Sudeep until he enters his password incorrectly 3 times in a row, and so his safe goes into shutdown mode. Needing this money for his investors, Sudeep tries to open the safe with a blowtorch, but Nani fucks with him and the blowtorch ends up setting fire to all the money. Not knowing where else to turn, Sudeep goes back to the dark alley to seek out the sorcerer, who agrees to kill Nani for him. And this is where shit gets a bit weird, as if it wasn't already. The sorcerer conjures 2 possessed birds to find and kill Nani. And this sequence is actually up there with the best for flaming energy hand effects. There's some serious Doctor Strange stuff going on here, but because Nani is a parkour genius, he outskills them, in the process spilling a hell of a lot of alcohol and plunging one of the bird's beaks into a plug socket. The mansion's automatic doors close on them because of a short circuit, leaving Sudeep and the sorcerer to suffocate with the fire. By the right hand of his right-hand man, Sudeep is saved, however. In the scene that follows, however, he actually kills his right-hand man in order to collect some insurance and buy out the investors that are currently threatening to ruin his company because he burnt all their money. And, now aware that the fly is Nani, he invites Bindu over to lure him out. He threatens to kill Bindu and calls on Nani to trade his life for hers. Nani places himself under Sudeep's foot but plunges a needle through that foot as Sudeep steps down. At this point, Sudeep has gone completely mental, pulls a gun on Nani, and we get a Matrix bullet time moment because seriously, this movie has everything. Bindu hides while the mansion is almost destroyed from the inside by trigger-happy Sudeep as he desperately tries to kill a housefly. When he runs out of bullets, Nani drops a chandelier, the glass from which scars Sudeep horribly. Sudeep finds Bindu again and forces her to watch as he uses a magnet it to trap Nani, who was carrying another needle at the time. He takes his wing and loses his mind. Bruised and broken, Nani sees the model cannon. He surrenders to the now match-wielding Sudeep, is ignited, dives into the cannon like a fucking hero, and Sudeep is shot. But that's not the end, because not only is Sudeep shot, so are a bunch of gas canisters, and Bindu barely escapes with her life as the mansion is brought down in a fireball. But that's still not the end. Bindu puts Nani's wing in a necklace because somehow that survived the inferno. But that's still not the end, because Bindu is then harassed by a man on a motorbike who makes a pass at her, and crashes instantly because he's back, baby, and now he's a fucking blue bottle. And that's the end. This may just be the best film I've ever seen, and the man of the match is Sudeep, because for this to happen, a man had to commit himself to the plotline of going crazy while being menaced by a housefly. And that man truly is an actor. I hope you enjoyed this review. I had a lot of fun writing it and indeed watching it. I hope that you watch it. I hope that you enjoy it. As always, like, subscribe, comment below, and if you like it, I might do more. Bye!